Review, a daily program that delves into the latest and most significant economic stories. From stock markets to currency news, Business Review covers the most up-to-date stories in the global financial world.
Finance officials from the group of 20 major economies vowed on Saturday to continue using all available policy tools to fight the pandemic and bolster the global economy, warning that the outlook remains highly uncertain. G20 finance ministers and central bankers, in a communiqué issued after a virtual meeting on Saturday, said the global economy would recover as economies gradually reopen, adding that further actions were needed to ensure growth. G20 finance officials said 42 of the world's 73 poorest countries had requested a freeze in official bilateral debt payments through the end of the year, amounting to about $5.3 billion in deferred payments. Reflecting concerns raised by the World Bank, the officials urged all bilateral creditors to implement the Debt Services Suspension Initiative, or the DSSI, fully and transparently. They also strongly encouraged private creditors to participate on comparable terms and said they would consider extending the debt standstill in the second half of 2020. The Institute for International Finance said Wednesday, ahead of Saturday's meeting, that private creditors had not received any formal requests from countries for debt service suspension under the G20 initiative. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the current G20 chair. The officials also reaffirmed their commitment to resolving differences over how to tax digital services and reaching a broad consensus-based solution this year. They said they expected to see proposals on international tax reform by October when they meet again.
U.S. stocks ended lower on Thursday, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average snapping a four-day winning streak in a decline led by technology stocks as investors parsed mixed corporate earnings reports and economic data. The Labor Department announced on Thursday billings for unemployment benefits hit 1.3 million in the week that ended on Saturday. That was down just 10,000 from the previous week's readings. Economists had expected claims to fall to 1.25 million for the week. Data detailing consumer spending trends pointed to a rosier economic recovery. According to reports, retail sales jumped by 7.5% in June, beating economists' estimate of a 5% increase. The uptick followed a record-breaking 18.2% surge in May, as economic reopenings fueled a bounce back in spending activity. Still, investors largely looked through the sales data to focus on the still dire job market. Meanwhile, oil futures traded lower as the West Texas Intermediate crude fell as much as 1.7% to $40.52 per barrel, while the Brent crude, the international benchmark, declined 1.5% to $43.14 per barrel at intraday lows.
Chinese President Xi Jinping said Tuesday that cooperation between China and Singapore in the fight against COVID-19 has become a new highlight of bilateral relations and added significant connotations to their round cooperative partnership. Xi made the remarks in a telephone conversation with the Singaporean Prime Minister. Guided by the principle of a community of shared destiny, the Chinese president said China would like to share its experience in fighting COVID-19 and provide material and technological support to the international community to the best of its ability. He stressed that since the outbreak, the two countries' governments and peoples from all walks of life have lent helping hands to each other, and the two countries took the lead in establishing a fast track for essential personnel exchanges. He added the two countries' bilateral relations stand at a new starting point as this year marks the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Singapore, calling on the two sides to conduct various forms of celebrations to mark the bilateral friendship more readily embraced by the two peoples. He He noted China will continue to deepen reform and opening up, improve its business environment, while hoping Singapore will also provide good conditions for Chinese enterprises. On his part, the Singaporean Prime Minister said that Singapore welcomes Chinese enterprise to actively participate in Singapore's economic construction, stressing that the country is willing to work with China to safeguard free and open trade and promote exchanges at all levels.
Chinese President Xi Jinping said Tuesday that China stands ready to work with Thailand to cement solidarity and cooperation among regional countries and safeguard the sound momentum of development and prosperity in the region. Xi made the remarks in a telephone conversation with Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. In the phone call with Prayut, Xi said that China would like to share its experience in fighting COVID-19 and enhance cooperation in research and development of drugs and vaccines, as guided by the principle of a community of shared destiny. Xi said that China and Thailand relations have a profound foundation and great potential, adding that since the beginning of this year, the two continued to promote bilateral practical cooperation with growth in bilateral trade. The Chinese president noted that China is willing to work with Thailand to consolidate regional unity and cooperation and maintain the good momentum of regional development and prosperity. For his part, Prayut said that Thai side hopes to deepen China and Thailand friendship and cooperation, strengthen cooperation in the fields of economy, trade, innovation and poverty alleviation, and promote the construction of the Belt and Road to enhance the level of the two countries' comprehensive strategic partnership as the two countries celebrate the 45th anniversary of the establishment of their diplomatic ties.
China registered a better-than-expected foreign trade performance in the first half of the year, with imports and exports both rising in June following the pandemic. The General Administration of Customs, also known as the GAC, said Tuesday the country saw its foreign trade rise 5.1% year-on-year in June, with exports and imports up 4.3% and 6.2% respectively. A GAC spokesman said following the turbulence of the first quarter, imports and exports in the second quarter showed signs of recovery and some stability. In the first half of the year, the imports and exports of private enterprises in China increased against the trend, playing a more prominent role in stabilizing the growth of foreign trade. From January to June, the foreign trade of Chinese private enterprises reached 6.42 trillion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 4.9%, accounting for 45.1% of China's total foreign trade value. During January to June period, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, became China's largest trading partner. Trade was up 5.6% year-on-year to 2.9 trillion yuan. That's accounting for about 14.7% of China's total foreign trade. Meanwhile, trade with countries on the Belt and Road accounted for 29.5% of the total trade in the first 6 months, up 0.7% year-on-year, driven by active cooperation in COVID control, setting up smart customs, as well as the China-Europe freight trains as anchors of stability for the global supply chain.
Minister of Economy Bruno Le Maire announced that consumption in France returned to normal after the collapse caused by COVID-19 crisis. Le Maire clarified that in recent weeks the French economy stood at 30% consumption. Today it is at least 5%, which means people are gradually returning to their daily activities.
Moi, je sais que ce qui m'a manqué le plus, c'est d'aller au musée, d'aller
I am participating in these collective activities in Paris. Sales start today, so I am happy to be in Paris from Strasbourg. I am also going to attend some exhibitions as well. Everything seems promising.
à Strasbourg avant les soldes. Mais voilà, c'est l'occasion.
Shopping centres and markets in France have arrived to a certain economic cycle. Life is back to normal, so we are going to buy what we need.
J'ai pas peur d'aller dans les magasins faire du shopping parce que je pense qu'il y a des mesures de sécurité.
I am not afraid to shop. We are doing what is needed. There is a mask on my face and gel in my pocket. That's all what I need. We can't lock ourselves at home. I am not afraid. Life must go on.
Bruno Le Maire said he was in favor of lowering production taxes and ruled out any generalized drop in the VAT, TVA, which did not create jobs. He did not rule out the creation of subsidized jobs to encourage the entry of young people into the labor market, while the sudden halt of activity in the spring risks causing a spike in unemployment by the end of the year.
This week we have reached an important step to our economy. Our main priority now is the youth and employing them, as well as restarting the economy. We cannot ignore them, especially when they are entering the French market. Our sole perspective is to register at the emploi.com, and this is our task at the moment.
Asked about the extent of the economic recovery plan that the government intends to present at the start of the school year and the hypothesis that its amount to reaches up to 100 billion euros, Bruno Le Maire said it can go very high. Therefore, up to numbers you enter.
Today marks the first day in sales in France. However, with Americans unable to make it to Europe and international flights not yet available, what will happen to the shopping market in Paris? This is Farah Al Hashim reporting for the Business Review, KTV2, Paris.
This has been Business Review, your daily source for the most critical stories in the financial world. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.